I want to ask you, Vinny, because I asked you this at halftime, Fran. The idea that potentially we have to flip the way we think about this Eagles team. What if this is a team where they lean on the defense being the best unit and not the offense?
What's wrong with that? I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
So-
maybe this is a defensive football team that has explosiveness to every now and then put big plays together.
Yeah, we can't take it to the extreme.
Okay.
But, this defense is playing lights out.
Yep.
I mean, they come out the bye week in the way the defense has been rolling. Almost the last couple games been almost shutouts.
Yeah.
Almost shutouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insane the changes that has been made to this defense and the way they've been playing. Oh my God!
Yeah, Tony Romo had a play tonight where he was talking about the two safeties, bracketing off guys and how the players are finally,
That was in every alley.
Yeah, like they're just reacting to Vic's system. Like they're over the point of like they're fully bought in and they believe and it's showing.
3 of the last 5 games, they have not allowed a touchdown on defense.
That's unbelievable.
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
By defensive APA per drive, it was just the first 3 quarters. It talks away at the end. It was their second best performance of the Sirianni era, behind that 44-6 blowout of the Lions a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Vic Fangio deserves like all kinds of flowers.
I think the big thing is just they showed a couple angles today on the All-22 and Romo pointing out the guys passing things off in coverage, and you see Cooper DeJean jumping a crossing route, and then Nakobe Dean passing one off, and then Quinyon Mitchell jumping over the top, and you have the safeties coming down. They're all working so well in unison, and that's been one of the hallmarks of with Vic Fangio defenses. You talk about linebacker play and the multiple fronts and things like that. To me, watching the guys on the back end, that has always been one of the hallmarks, their ability to stop those explosive plays. And that's what we've seen this unit grow into, is their ability. Again, you're forcing the defense, or they're forcing the offense to earn every single yard. Nothing is easy. Any completion where a guy catches it where he doesn't have a defender right on him happens within the first 3 yards. It's those dump off plays, and that's when you see those guys come from depth and rally to the football and make those stops one-on-one. To me, that is one of the earmark, one of the hallmark identities of this Eagles defense.
Ezio in the chat, did you see that?
Well, go ahead.
Thinks Vic Fangio would be the funniest head shave.
I saw Howie too, which I think would be fun.
Howie came to my mind. Howie and Jeffrey came to my mind immediately.
Now, on the Howie front, because I think this is interesting what you were just saying.
Re-sign Zack Baun? Is that where you're going?
No, because I go back to in the start of training camp, asking Howie Roseman about Vic's tendency to play his defensive linemen a lot more than the Eagles traditionally have under Howie Roseman. And he said, we have to accept that we have to sort of become a little bit different philosophically on defense. We have to be comfortable with that being uncomfortable. And the way that this defense is succeeding is so different than the way that the Eagles have been built for so long under Howie Roseman. It has always been defensive line, defensive line, defensive line. We're going to put together the best group of pass rushers possible, and the back end will figure itself out. The defensive line has been good, but they don't have a star on the edge right now, right? Josh Sweat has been solid. Nolan Smith is ascending a little bit. Brandon Graham has been overperforming all expectations, but there's no Hassan Reddick type on this team. They are right now one of the better defenses in the league because of the back seven and because of the communication. It's very interesting that Howie Roseman has sort of handed the keys over to Vic Fangio, and it's working.
Not only that, too, but I think a lot of the credit deserved to the players as well for kind of embracing that, in that you're not hearing, even when there was the sack drought, right? And it's like, oh, there's not a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You might have heard a young player like Jalen Carter kind of say like, oh, yeah, like, maybe he's like upset behind the scenes, and there's whispers of that. You haven't really seen that. Josh Sweat, all those guys embracing their roles, understanding, hey, you know what? Maybe I do have to drop 7, 8, 9 times in a game where that's uncomfortable for me. That's not what I've been asked to do in the past. But I think that speaks to a lot of those guys just embracing the role, trusting the scheme, and letting that do the work for them. And I think the proof is in the pudding. The coaching has been really, really good. We talk about Vic Fangio, but the assistants that they brought in, Christian Parker on the back end, Jeff King at linebacker, Jeremiah Washburn continues to do really good things with the outside backers, and then Clinton Hurt working with the interior line. I mean, this coaching staff has done a really, really good job on that side of the ball.
So it's interesting. I was thinking about cornerback play a lot this week because earlier this year when I got into it with Zach one Wednesday about the Eagles' identity offensively, my point was that cornerback play, I think, has, and you can speak to this from all the college scouting you've done. Wide receivers were ahead for so long. Rules changes were in their favor. They were just getting bigger, better, and faster. I think cornerback play at the collegiate level has now elevated. They know exactly, these pro-style sets, so it's easier for guys to come in now and make impacts immediately. And I think last year the secondary was just it was bad. And just getting younger and faster, and Quinyon and Cooper and even Reed Blankenship, these guys, it's just secondary play across the NFL, I think, is elevated. And I think the Eagles, hopped on that train and changed their defense entirely from last year to this year based on the secondary.
And with respect to Howie Roseman, it's also interesting because the big moves they made on defense this offseason, Bryce Huff has not performed up to his contract level. Devin White is no longer on the team. C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been probably the least reliable guy in the secondary, despite being the second highest paid guy. But Zack Baun has been a borderline Pro Bowl caliber player. So they've turned the defense around, even though they haven't nailed all of their defensive offseason acquisitions.
The two biggest pieces are through the draft. This is looking like an A++ draft. Like those two, they changed everything. And, cornerback play is it's a beautiful thing to watch when you have it.
We all city like the mayor.